Speaker one, the face you see is a digital puppet, and the voice you hear is a cloned version of my own. This work has been processed by a series of algorithms and written with a machine. But the final composition, the edit, the choices, the intent is mine. We have long lived with the illusion of the photograph. It promised to capture what was there, a frozen moment, an objective record. But our own eyes do something else. Sight is never neutral. It is a construction shaped by memory, emotion, and expectation. To see is always to interpret. Alongside these familiar ways of seeing, our own perception and the lens of the camera, there is now another, the gaze of the machine. It does not record like a camera, nor experience like an eye. It works through measurement and calculation, transforming images into data. In this video, I use my AI-generated likeness as a subject, passing it through standard analytical tools to observe what kind of image they produce and what their methods might reveal about our own. Before we begin, let's acknowledge the familiar story: surveillance. We know the script. To be observed is to change behavior. Surveillance does not simply record who we are, it shapes us in the act of watching. The error is to imagine these systems as neutral observers. They are not. They are trained on data scraped from the internet, steeped in prejudice, and their outputs return those distortions to us. They are not transparent windows, but distorted mirrors. And today, almost all art passes through this mediation, whether in the spell checker of a proposal or the digital photograph of a physical work. The digital frame is everywhere. I am not interested in fantasies of purity, of withdrawal into some moral off-grid retreat. The question is how to remain with the mess we have already made. This video is an attempt to do just that. The machine begins by naming. One algorithm relies on a fixed dictionary: person, cup. It applies a rigid vocabulary, reducing complexity into categories that fit the model. Another accepts more open descriptions. I can type a man facing his digital self, and it searches for a match. But both approaches work by imposing labels. A label is not neutral, it simplifies, it frames, it reduces a fluid reality into discrete units of data. Then comes continuity. After labeling me person, the system assigns an ID number, person 3. From that moment, I am not just a type, but a trackable entity, a line carried through time. This logic of continuity produces digital identity, a persistent record that can be followed, measured, and stored. Next, the machine constructs a world. It separates my moving body from the static background, then estimates depth, turning a flat image into a calculated 3D space. For the algorithm, a room is not a place, but a geometry of coordinates. Like perspective in Renaissance painting, this space is not discovered, but invented, a mathematical fiction that organizes vision into order. My body is reduced to points and lines, a skeletal web of coordinates in motion. Before any action is recognized, the system first registers movement as such. Optical flow turns the screen into vectors, every pixel with its own speed and direction. Vision dissolves into a field of energy, without subject or cause. Only afterward are patterns identified, collapsing movement into labels like talking or waving. A rich field of gesture is narrowed into statistical events. This is where the strangeness becomes obvious. One tool analyzes the geometry of my face and declares my expression neutral, relying on the idea that inner states can be read from surface measurements, an echo of physiognomy. Another, trained on different data, reads pixel textures and concludes my face is fake. The same image is both natural and artificial, authentic and counterfeit. These contradictions are not errors to be dismissed. They are the system speaking in fragments, unable to unify its partial views. This fractured output is the condition of digital vision. The machine also translates. Text recognition, or OCR, searches for letters, converting them back into data. Sound is turned into a spectrogram, a luminous image of frequency. Speech recognition transcribes my voice into words, but only the words' tone, rhythm, and feeling are discarded. The result is a transcript without presence, just as the digital reproduction of an artwork carries the image, but not the aura of the original. So after all this analysis, what does the machine actually see? Not a person. It sees a label and an ID number, a trackable body in a constructed space, a sequence of movements collapsed into events, a face with contradictory statuses, and a voice flattened into text. This is the logic of a digital taxonomy. To make the world computable, it must first be simplified. Each layer of analysis reduces presence into manageable parts. But even these categories are unstable. The same face is judged neutral and fake at once. Today's algorithm will be updated tomorrow, producing new results. The digital ground shifts constantly. Art too, once thought of as stable, is now endlessly reinterpreted, redigitized, recontextualized. The challenge is not to retreat from this instability, but to engage with it, to listen to the glitches, the biases, the contradictions. Because in the system's failures, in what it gets wrong about us, we might find something new, a different way of understanding ourselves, and the fragile, unstable nature of representation in a digital age. And perhaps this is the point, to hold these ways of seeing together. The eye with its stories shaped by memory and desire. The camera with its illusion of objectivity. The machine with its fragments of calculation. None of them neutral, none complete. But in their tension, in what slips between them, we may catch sight of something more.